hili lafanyika.
There is a rising tide of condemnation from human rights bodies and the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims on the government's treatment of Kenyan citizens suspected of involvement in terrorism. Since the July 7th twin bombings in Kampala, several citizens have been arrested within and outside the country. The Kenya government appears to have steadily and with little regard to due process handed over several Kenyans to foreign authorities. The police force is at the center of the whole fiasco, with specialized police units such as the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit literally kidnapping Kenyans and taking them across the border. While they claim to have followed extradition procedures in some of the cases, there is no evidence this is the case. Extradition requires the issuing of an arrest warrant in Kenya and a court order granting permission for the removals. At least 12 Kenyans have apparently been handed over to Uganda illegally. They include Idris Magondu, Hussein Hassan Agade, Mohammed Abdo, Muhammad Hamid, Habib Suleiman Joroge, Yahya Mbuthia Suleiman, Omar Awad Omar, and Ismail Abubakar. The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims alleges that Kenyan authorities are doing this at the behest of American Federal Bureau of Investigation officials deployed to help investigations in Kampala.
They know they now have entered into an alliance with their counterparts in Uganda so that no Kenyan advocate or human rights defender can go to Uganda to assist the deportees of the Kenyan government.
We will, as Muslims, hold the Kenyan government responsible for these injustices that has been meted upon Muslims of Kenya. We have no business with FBI or Ugandan government. All that we know is that Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba, but unknown to us and unknown to millions of Kenyans is the second Guantanamo in a country which is neighboring Kenya.
In addition to those renditioned, there are 5 Kenyans who were arrested in Uganda, among them controversial rights activist Alamin Kimathi. There are concerns this group is unlikely to face justice, with the Ugandan government even arresting lawyers who go to the country to represent suspects. On the 15th of September, Kenyan lawyer Mbugua Moreithi was arrested and held for several days alongside Kimathi as he sought to represent Kenyan terrorism suspects.
There is a Tanzanian who was also accused in the list that the Ugandans provided. He was accused number 36. The Tanzanian government refused to hand him over to the Ugandans until the due process of the law was followed.
I mean, we need to find out who did it, why, and they need to pay the price. Many lives were lost. But to involve the Muslim Human Rights Forum in this and to involve Kimathi in this, to our mind, makes a mockery of the seriousness of the case.
The law is not there only for those that are suspected of crimes, it's also there for public officials who, with impunity, continue to carry out crimes against the people and the Constitution.
Most Kenyans arrested in connection with the bombings and held in Ugandan custody face terrorism and murder charges. But their continued stay there, with cooperation from the Kenyan government, raises questions on just where the government's obligations to protect its citizens starts and ends. In 2007, 9 Kenyans were among 100 people illegally renditioned to Somalia and Ethiopia. Moraya Karaoke, KTN Prime.